Well, yeah. I mean, I got into this when I stumbled across Brett Weinstein's interview on Joe Rogan were the first time I heard someone use the concept, and I liked his formulation of it. Through him, I found people like Daniel and Jordan Hall talking about this stuff, and but I liked how Brett's analogy was that it was like parkour. So meaning that the city was always there. People weren't always doing parkour on the urban landscape. And to me, that's the perfect metaphor, because I think that all the structures that we need exist. It's just that they're misarranged. They're not arranged correctly. All the resources, they're not in the right place. And it's a question of aligning pre-existing structures so that we can actually play this new game that we could have always done. Like, I think everything about Game B is like, there's nothing that would have stopped us from doing it earlier. It's purely that we didn't have the right framework, the right lens to actually start doing that.
I guess we can loop back to what you were saying before, where you felt like maybe we could have been playing Game B earlier.
Yeah.
And like for me, it's like, I don't know if we had necessarily had the technology to get to a fully like Game B place. I don't even think we have, might be questionable, have all the technology to do that today. But I'm curious why you think that would be true like before.
It's a very good question. And there's a lot of ways to answer it. I differ from someone like Brett Weinstein in this respect, that I don't think that. See, he thinks that we are playing out our evolutionary programming, and that's Game A, right? And I don't think that's the case. I think that I think that Game A is Darwinian, but it's not Darwinian in our favor. It's in the favor of these various systems that people have become sort of embroiled, trapped in, become subject to. And those systems evolve and we do not, right? And I think that the project of Game B is here's how I would put it. I think that the project of Game B is to scale the original mechanisms of Dunbar cohesion, meaning that that which was able to bond together a small community of people through voluntary work and labor, that we need new social technologies, psychotechnologies, to scale that beyond the Dunbar limit. And our failure to do that, right, is, I think that's what Game A is. Game A is the erasure of Dunbar cohesion and the replacement of it with coercive use of money, coercive systems, and coercion itself. And so for me, this is a position I'm taking, and you could counteract this, right? And I could get into many long discussions and debates with people about this. But yeah, for me, it's very important that Game B is a kind of, it's actually more natural, right, than Game A in that sense. And that doesn't mean that it's, I'm not in a primitivist sense. It's not like, oh, we get rid of all technology. No, the technology we've all made during Game A is excellent and awesome. But it's simply a question of getting the technology to serve us and human beings, all human beings, as opposed to itself. I think that this is really wrapped up in, everyone has had this common observation for over a century. It's like, well, our technology is evolving and we can't control it. Like, we don't seem to have anything to do with it. It's like, well, all the different countries now, they're building all these weapons, arms races, AI, nuclear weapons, and it's like, well, who knows? We're going to hold up our hands. But I'm saying, no, we need to find the way where that we are able to answer that question, when we're able to say, we're actually building this technology for us as human beings, as human animals, social animals, not using the social animals to keep building technology. So that's why I feel that that's a long way of saying, I really think that in 1935, in, the 1850s, like at any point, I think that there are a small number of things that we could have started to do that could have gotten us out of this. And that's a claim. It's not necessarily the case. It could be, I could be deeply wrong about that. But I think technology isn't the answer. I think it's the things we do with the technology, and we could have been doing them much, much earlier.
Interesting.
But that's my theory.